I'm Bryce Dallas Howard, and these are the loves of my life. Frisky. Frisky was my first dog. When I was young, I was very quiet to a degree that made folks a little nervous in my life. I was the oldest kid, and so my parents didn't really have anything to compare it to. But around when I was 18 months old, my parents got this dog, Frisky, a little Jack Russell Terrier. He ran up to me and he grabbed my blanket. My dad actually told this story at my wedding. He grabbed my blanket and he started pulling at it. I was kind of fighting with Frisky for a second, and then I let out this belly laugh where I have a very loud laugh. But I guess I hadn't laughed ever. And this big laugh was a big moment for my parents. And they saw that Frisky brought me to earth and made me feel present and connected me with my emotions. And ever since then, animals and pets have always been so important to me. I made a documentary called Pets, and it's on Disney+. It's really a celebration of pets and their people around the world. Josh Gad and Seth Gabel. Those boys are the loves of my life. I'm married to Seth, just to be clear. I'm married to Seth. I'm not married to Josh Gad, although it genuinely feels like that sometimes. But they've been best friends since kindergarten. And so when I started dating Seth, it was paramount that I got Josh's approval, which took a little something, for sure. Josh came into the city one day, and we met for the first time. It was quite cold outside, and he hadn't brought a coat. And so Seth was like, "Can you bring a coat down for Josh?" I don't know why I did this. I'm not even like this. But I brought him down like a pink fuzzy robe with like these like big fruit things on it, like stitched onto it. And it was a bathrobe. And so I made him wear a bathrobe around the entire city the whole night. And I think I won him over with that. I love both those boys in very different ways. Mr. Peter Scotch. I refuse to call him Peter. He's Mr. Scotch forever and ever. He was my high school English teacher. And I actually had pretty severe learning disabilities. In 9th grade, in a different school, I had been put in an English class that was like actually English as a second language. And so 10th grade, I went to public school, and the first day of class, I handed in a paper, and Mr. Scotch asked to see me afterwards. And I was like, oh no, he's gonna like hold me back. He's gonna say that like it's not good enough. And he sat me down. I was 15 at the time. Mr. Scotch was 26. He was 26. This was his first year teaching. And he sat me down and he said, "Bryce, I read your paper, and I wanted to ask you if you would be interested in working toward getting something published." And I was like, wait, what? There are some things that we're going to need to work on, grammar, syntax, all the sort of fundamental things. But he saw through that. And that year, I blossomed like you could not believe. We're still incredibly close. He doesn't like that I call him Mr. Scotch. He's only like 10 or 11 years older than me. Henry Winkler is my godfather. I'm a very lucky woman. I have a lot of great men in my life. My dad, my husband's best friend. These are great men. I love Ron Howard. I love Josh Gad. I love Seth Gabel. But there's something about Henry Winkler that is very, very, very magical. He's just the most loving human being, and he is so present, and he cares so deeply. And he's also really funny and charming and charismatic and wonderful. He's like a father to me. He really, really is. David Oyelowo. David Oyelowo and I did a movie called As You Like It 20 plus years ago.
And I were your fairy, Rosalind.
I would kiss before I spoke.
We very much so stayed in touch, and he has a spooky ability to intuit the exact moment when I need a call from David Oyelowo. And I'm not kidding you. Like, there have been many times that I've been sort of at a rock bottom moment, and I'm just like, help. And David calls. David has a very deep spiritual practice, and he'll call me and he'll say, "Yeah, I was praying and you just kept coming up, and so how you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm in the hospital." You know what I mean? Like, it's like that kind of a thing. Like, he just shows up at the moment. He just gives the best advice, the most extraordinary counsel. He's a wonderful human being. M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan is totally responsible for my career, honestly.
Shall we have a foot race?
Yes.
Up the hill to the resting rock.
No cheating.
I had been doing theater, and I did a show at the Public called As You Like It, and I was obsessed with Sixth Sense and Unbreakable. And I had watched the behind the scenes a million times. So I actually recognized Night in the audience. I was like, wait, what? That's M. Night Shyamalan. Like, I freaked out. Like, I still have the image in my head, like he was wearing a white shirt. Like, it was like he had a spotlight on him. And he actually waited afterwards with his wife to meet me, like stayed after the play. And I was like, oh my gosh, hi. And he was like, hi, I just wanted to introduce myself. And I got a call a few weeks later that he wanted to meet and sit down for lunch. And I was like, God, I wonder what this is about. So we went to lunch, and then he pulled out a manila envelope out of his bag, and he pushed it across the table toward me. And he goes, there's the script. I would like to offer you the lead of this movie. And I was like, wait, what? And I literally said to him, I was like, don't you want me to audition? And he was like, no, because I've already made the decision, and I don't want to give the studio anything that's going to make them talk me out of it. And I was just like, wait, what? Who does this? Nobody does this. But 32-year-old M. Night Shyamalan did. I'll never forget that, walking home with the manila envelope in my hands, just being like, what? Sensei Ali. So Sensei Ali was my sensei for years. It all started when I was, God, I don't even think, I might have been like 8 or 9. I got so into karate that I ended up assisting him and being like an assistant teacher and all of that. And it was wonderful getting to finally put that to use a little bit in a movie that I did last year. Sensei Ali definitely introduced me to a level of grit that I don't think I would have otherwise. I mean, only because of Sensei Ali do I know how to take a punch. I mean, for real. Moet Hashimoto is the love of my life, honestly. I love my husband so much, but I joke that Moet is my soulmate and Seth is my husband. Moet and I went to high school together. We went to public high school in New York. And I remember seeing Moet across a room and just being like, I don't know, something. I just knew that she was the most amazing human being. We became very close, very, very, very fast. And I would have like these like very sort of like romantic photos of her that I would like have like a Xerox copy of. We're still very much so best friends. She's the godmother to my kids. I'm the godmother to her daughter. It's just an amazing thing to have a best friend for life. Ruben Polendo is a magnificent, brilliant theater director, and he has a company called Theater Me Too that I was a company member of. The kind of work that Ruben does as a director is called devised theater. And in devised theater, the performers are very much so involved in breathing life into the text. You know, you're devising it all together. When I was at NYU, he directed a play called Hamlet Machine, and I was in the cast of that play. And because of that play, I got my first agent, who was my agent for a zillion trillion years. After I left school, I was part of his theater company. He's just always been such an incredible mentor and advocate, and it was working with Ruben Polendo doing devised theater that made me realize that I could bring something to life, that I could have an idea and not just perform someone else's thing. I could create something from scratch.